Indian two-wheelers in particular have seen or rather have been riding high since the last year, but the trends within the segment seem to be changing now. Guleria is waiting by to spot some of the key trends and highlight the potential catalysts boosting the demand for the two-wheeler space. Guleria?
Well, Aisha, two-wheelers are indeed in the fast lane, and there are a lot of factors which are aiding that growth, and of late we've seen a very strong demand come by from the rural end of the market. The monsoons have been good for 2 to 3 consecutive years. The government has been taking a lot of initiatives to boost farm incomes, to boost rural infrastructure, and of course apart from that, over and above, we've seen a recovery on the exports front as well, and that is exactly what is leading to the market. And let's not also forget a large part of the year also comprises of the wedding season, and then there's the festive season, which also has generated a very significant demand for two-wheelers. If we look at the trajectory of the key two-wheeler players in the country, in the domestic market at this point of time, well, Hero of course is the leader. Hero has been sustaining 6 lakh plus volumes since the start of this year, and not just this year. If we go back to last year also, the volumes have been very strong, but January 2018 onwards, we're seeing a sustained growth of 6 lakh above units for Hero. Same goes for Honda Motor as well. Good growth they've sustained, only for the dip that they saw in the month of March. They've seen a very strong growth across the last 6 months as well. In fact, 6.8 lakh units they've been able to clock in for 2 consecutive months, but again a slight dip there again seen in the month of June, where they did 5.7 lakh units. If you look at Bajaj, 3.3 to 4 lakh range has been the norm for them as well. So most of these two-wheeler players have been able to sustain that. And what exactly are some key trends within this market that we've been able to spot in the last couple of months, or rather the last 1 year, is the fact that of course there's been a massive demand, especially from the rural end of the space. The ascent has been led by scooters. If you look at last year's volume trajectory, it was scooters which were really in the forefront, hogging all the limelight when it comes to the growth seen in the two-wheeler space, while motorcycles are now commanding a majority of the market share. For the first 5 months of this year also, it was scooters, but in the month of May we saw motorcycles really take over. The share of motorcycles right now is at 71%, scooters 24%. This is of course FY14 that we're looking at, and it has really drastically changed all the way to FY18, because scooters have seen a rapid pickup in terms of market share. If you look at that, that is a big trend. Scooterization, premiumization, these are the two trends. One is scooterization, of course, which we've talked about. If you look at premiumization, well, that is another big trend that's picking up. Entry level executive segment is no longer the cash car for these two-wheeler players, and premium segment is something that they're betting on in a big way. So these are some two important trends which we have been able to spot, and of course the fact that motorcycles are making a comeback once again after a big gap of almost 10 years.
All right, Guleria, thanks very much for getting us that analysis. What's giving motorcycles an edge? Let's take that topic forward with Mr. Y.S. Guleria, who's Senior Vice President, Sales and Marketing at Honda Motorcycles and Scooters India. Mr. Guleria, it's great to have you on the show. Scooters, after having grown at a faster pace to motorcycles for 8 consecutive years, are lagging behind in growth. Is this par for the course, given that typically with a higher or a rising adjustment in per capita income, the demand is likely to shift to premium products, and motorcycles versus scooters is seen as a premium addition. Also the fact that, with the boost given to the Kharif season, government initiatives and the upcoming festive season as well, there is talk about the rural and the semi-urban demand really pushing these numbers.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to put it on record that the scooters are in the first quarter ending Q1 of FY19 back to the double-digit growth. Obviously, when we were seeing the result of the first 2 months, April and May, they were, as per the data available, it was clear trend that the motorcycles were outpacing the growth of scooters. For sure, as you rightly mentioned, there have been several initiatives by the government for last couple of years, where the infrastructure improvement in the rural and then the MSP support and continued focus on development of the rural area has really led to the revival of positive sentiments as well as buying intention in the rural. And traditionally, we all know rural has been a very strong, I would say, propensity for buying motorcycles. So, definitely it helped. Whenever there is a positive sentiment, the buyings of the consumer starts happening, the bigger segment, the bigger chunk will always go to the motorcycles. And April and May also have been the marriage season, and especially in the north and the central Indian belt, the marriage season also helped to boost the sales backed by the tailwinds of positive sentiment in the rural economy. But we should not forget that anything positive in the rural will also give a positive traction for the scooters acceptance as well, because even today the penetration of scooter has been very low in the rural because of the conservative mindset. But for sure, whenever there is an infrastructure improvement, there is a good condition of the road, the acceptance of scooters also increase. And last 1 year, the data released by Society of Indian Automobile Manufacturers, if we analyze closely, there is hardly any state in the country where the penetration of scooters has not been improving, not only year on year, but the last 10 years data itself shows the penetration of scooter or acceptance of scooter has been increasing across the region and across the states. Having said that, there are certain agrarian economy because of the long history and the conservative mindset that the pace of acceptance is relatively slower than what we see in the progressive state or in the urban India. But as a trend, the penetration is improving, and infrastructure will only add up to this penetration improving at a much faster pace than we have seen in the the recent past.
Was eating into the market share of two-wheelers. When I say two-wheelers, I mean motorcycles. Do you think now both the categories can grow in early teens, or it's going to be this versus that still?
I would not say that it is currently eating into each other's share. The overall economy is showing a very positive trend. The buying sentiments are positive. We are now entering into the second quarter, which is almost the start of the festival season, beginning with the Rath Yatra in the eastern part of the country in Odisha, which also leads to some buying even in east as well as west. And then the new academic session has also opened. They would be buying in the colleges for two-wheelers. So overall, two-wheelers are going to definitely increase, and the only thing is there would be depending upon the new model launches, in which category the manufacturers are going to focus, there will be attraction towards the new model launches. But at the same time, the trend would continue that the scooterization of the country will continue to grow and continue to expand, and rural is going to support. Again, I repeat that urban India is consuming scooters faster compared to the rural, but rural will also start accepting. But overall growth is going to happen in both the segment. That's what we foresee.
So, you're representing the case, Mr. Guleria, that scooters will have a higher yielding growth as opposed to motorcycles. Is that right, in the next 1 to 2 years?
I cannot put it in exact figure, because I would only like to attribute to the trend that the scooters penetration is going to increase. We have seen now almost 33%, every third two-wheeler sold in the country today is a scooter, and the largest selling two-wheeler in the country today is also a scooter, that is from Honda, that is Activa. So, there is no sign as such we can say that we are reaching a saturation of scooters or scooters have reached their peak. I do not see that happening. So, further penetration is going to happen, but this penetration is happening in the growing two-wheeler market. So, now we know the Q1 has already grown at close to 16%. So, if the overall market is growing and the penetration of scooters is increasing, it would be over a longer period, it will be led by scooterization. That is what we see. But at the, in between the segments, you also mentioned there is one segment is 150 cc to 180 cc motorcycle in displacement motorcycles. So this is one segment which is almost growing at the double the pace of the total two-wheeler industry in the Q1 of this financial year. So again 16%, the 150 to 180 cc engine displacement motorcycle are growing at around 31%. But the overall volume and the base is very small. So there is as a percentage growth, it looks on very high because of the smaller base. But this is also one trend which we are closely watching. But overall contribution to the industry is only close to 10%, 11%. So it's not very significant as on date, but it need to be watched closely.
Okay, give us your own sense about, you know, what this would do for brand recognition. Several analysts state that, you know, for HMSI, it's the best brand on most counts, launches, network, customer focus, etc. With Bajaj losing ground in the domestic market, TVS being restricted to the southern market, do you see an opportunity for your market share to expand?
I would not like to quote on any competitive brand as such, but yes, I'm very happy and we are very proud that brand Honda continues to be on you know, on top of mind of the consumer mind share. So that's very positive for us, and through your channel would like to thank all our esteemed customers for patronizing brand Honda in two-wheelers. And we were also the most trusted brand amongst the auto companies last year by some independent survey. So any top of mind brand would definitely gain an advantage whenever there is a buying spree or positive sentiments in the market. So and we are taking several initiatives also to take this further. We plan to launch a customer loyalty program just before the onset of the festival season, because already we have a large customer base, close to 37 million since start of our operation, who proudly own Honda Wing mark on their two-wheelers. So we would be extending our engagement with the customers, and we would like to enhance the joy of our customer of using brand Honda and adopting Wing mark in their daily life.
Mr. Guleria, pleasure speaking with you, and thanks really for highlighting the dynamics which are currently playing out within the two-wheeler industry. It's been reflecting very strongly in the monthly sales data and reflecting in the stock prices as well. But